A storm is brewing in the comic book industry. The internet echo chamber screams about an impending apocalypse, a direct market collapse, with whispers that 70% of comic shops will shutter their doors by 2026. The truth is far more dramatic, far more fascinating, and far less apocalyptic. It's not a market collapse, it's a silent, profound transformation. In the following minutes, we're going to pull back the curtain on this industry's greatest misconception, revealing the one thing every comic reader needs to know, and believe me, it's not what you think. You see, the great irony here is a paradox of epic proportions. According to a report by Grandview Research, the global comic book industry is not just surviving, it's thriving. It's a multi-billion-dollar behemoth, a colossal engine of entertainment and art. But at the ground level, in the direct market, a survey by Comics Pro reveals that 69% of comic book retailers reported a decline in sales in a single year. That's not a narrative, that's an epidemic. The common misconception is that this industry as a whole is thriving, that the direct market is a bastion of stability, but we're witnessing a schism, a great divide between the global comic ecosystem and the specialized comic book shop. Why is the entire forest thriving while these specific trees are withering? The answer, as always, is in the data. And the data is a wicked trickster. And what exactly does it look like in the real world? It looks like the closure of stores like Jeffrey's Comics and Heidi Ho Comics in Los Angeles, which had been a fixture for over 40 years. According to LAist, the owner, Jeffrey Patterson, stated that the pandemic was the last straw, after losing more than half of their customer base to online sales. This isn't just about old school business models, it's about a new kind of customer. The First Culprit is a distribution model conceived in the 1970s. It's a relic of a bygone era. It was born to save the industry, but it's now strangling it. This is the infamous non-returnability policy. A store orders a comic, they pay for it, and they can't send it back if it doesn't sell. It's a gamble with no safety net. The publisher benefits from this model because it guarantees income, but it's a financial guillotine for the retailers. They have to order months in advance for a product with an unpredictable demand. This is a ritual as old as the direct market itself. New Comics Day, or as the initiated call it, Wednesday. The weekly drop is both a blessing and a curse. For the retailer, it's a constant high-stakes gamble. The problem is compounded by razor-thin profit margins. According to FinModel's lab, the average comic shop operates on a net profit margin of a razor-thin 2% to 10%. That's like trying to get a full-time career out of being an acrobat with no net. The problem isn't a lack of readers, it's a shift in how they read. Digital platforms and webcomics are exploding. An exploratory study from the journal Digital Technology and Culture shows that digital comics can be just as immersive as their print counterparts. They offer interactive storytelling, convenience, and a wider variety of content. The comic shop used to be the only place to get a fix. Now the fix is in your pocket. It's not just digital. According to a publisher's weekly report, while the direct market was down, the graphic novel market in schools and libraries is booming. And who are they competing against? Not just each other, but the digital behemoth that is the internet. Let's talk about the legacy retail problem. People walk into a comic shop, they browse, they read a few pages of a new series, and then they pull out their phone, find it on Amazon for 15% off, and have it shipped to their doorstep. This is showrooming, and it's a direct assault on the razor-thin margins we talked about. The comic shop is a free library, a free showroom, and a free showroom doesn't pay the rent. Let's pivot to the biggest elephant in the room that no one in the direct market wants to talk about, the manga and graphic novel revolution. While single-issue comic sales are flagging, the graphic novel market is booming, and the engine of that growth is manga. According to Publishers Weekly and an SLJ survey, manga sales in schools and libraries have exploded. The next generation of readers is not getting hooked on Spider-Man at a comic shop, they're getting hooked on Naruto in their school library. So where does that leave us? Are these stores just victims of progress, destined to become a historical footnote alongside Blockbuster? Wait a minute, not so fast. To predict the demise of the comic shop is to misunderstand what a good one actually is. The future of the comic shop is not in its old model, but in a new, revitalized purpose. The twist? They must stop being just a retail space. The reports argue that the future of comic shops is to become diversified, community-centric hubs. The most successful shops aren't just selling comics, they're selling an experience. They're hosting game nights, creator signings, and fostering a sense of belonging that you can't get from an Amazon order. This is their superpower, and it's a powerful one. The successful comic shops are no longer just stores, they're event spaces, they're community centers. They're the third place between home and work where people who share a common interest can gather. The product isn't the comic, it's the conversation, it's the shared experience. The comic shops that are surviving and thriving are the ones who are not only stocking these titles but actively promoting them. They're no longer just selling a weekly dose of superhero action, they're selling a bingeable, complete story. The savvy retailer has also realized that a comic is not their only product. While comics offer a razor-thin profit margin, merchandise and collectibles can offer margins that are significantly higher. Funko Pops, which have had problems of late, but you get the idea, action figures, t-shirts, and board games aren't just sidelines, they're the financial backbone of the modern comic shop. And what about the so-called threat of digital comics? What if we reframe it as an ally? Digital platforms like Comixology and Webtoon are an on-ramp for new readers. They offer a low-cost, low barrier to entry way to get into the medium. The best comic shops aren't ignoring digital, they're embracing it. They use social media to market new digital releases, they host digital comic club nights, and they understand that a digital reader today is a potential physical comic book buyer tomorrow. It's a funnel, not a threat. So let's bring this all back home. The comic shop apocalypse is a fiction. It's just not real. The truth is a business model that is dying and a community that is in the process of being reborn. This is not a story of a business being killed by new technology. This is a story of a business that's being forced to evolve. The non-returnable model, the razor-thin margins, the competition from online and digital platforms, these aren't the villains, they're the catalysts. They're forcing a necessary change. The future of the comic shop isn't what it sells, it's in who it serves. It's not a bookstore, it's a clubhouse. If this video gave you a new perspective on the comic industry, do me a favor. Don't just watch more videos. Click on the subscribe button and hit that bell for notification. We're building a community of critical, data-driven comic readers, and you don't want to miss out on our next deep dive. Now, go read comics, but read wisely. And I'll see you next time for more comical opinions.